we're good to go?
Anthony, are we on? Yes, I think we are. Awesome.
All right, fantastic, guys. Welcome to episode number 87 of the Practice Acceleration Podcast. If you are watching this live through our stream on Facebook, type in hey, hit the love button, let us know that you guys are there, smash that love button. And if you're listening to this in your car or at the gym, then know that this is a recording taken from our live stream. And if you want to check that out in the future, head on over to our Facebook page, Practice Acceleration, or head on over to the YouTube and you can check out our channel. So today we're talking about something very important, one of our core focuses here at Practice Acceleration, which is how to build an accountable team. Building an accountable team, kind of a big deal, isn't it?
This is a big deal. We have a massive team here, so we've been implementing a lot of strategies and having an accountable team.
Yes.
But this will also work for you if you have a small team or you really want to grow a team as well. As you start building up a team, you need to know that they're going to be accountable. And we did recently run a management masterclass. How fun was that?
That was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. That was with our elite members, so our second years in our program. If you guys are on, just type in hey. You probably maybe join the live
Say
stream.
Hi.
Type in
hit the
hey
love
to
button
us.
too. Slam that button.
Yeah, and this podcast came up because of a specific question that we talked about the management masterclass, and that was submitted by one of our clients who we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes.
But this is a really common theme, Tristan, that I saw across the board on that session. But also I hear it in our community all the time. This question, like, how do I build an accountable team?
Yeah,
and
I mean, that's a big question, right? Like if only everyone could operate the same level that you as the owner operate on, that's possibly a question you can ask yourself. So we're going to show you how to do that today.
Yeah, and this is going to work for anyone. It works for anyone with a team in dentistry, even if you're a physio, a chiro, an osteo. We use this ourselves. We've also given these tips to a bunch of entrepreneurs as well, and it works across the board in all types of professions.
You know, it's funny you said that, because when I was down at Mercedes the other day, and Manny, if you're watching, hello. They're one of our sponsors. They came to our event in Adelaide, and he said to me, I went down there just 2 weeks ago for Melissa's new car, and he said, well, everything you said about team, can I use that here at Mercedes, because I really want to use that, and would you mind if I use what I learned at your event? I said, mate, go for it. And then when I went back last week, he's like, you wouldn't believe how quickly it's working with the team. So this works across different industries, but in particular we're talking about how it relates to you as the healthcare professional. So the question, would you like me to cover the question?
Yeah, if you cover the question, and then we'll kind of go into how we actually solve this with her as well.
Great, fantastic. So if you just joined us, type in hey and hit that love button. Let us know you are loving this, and that'll mean we'll bring you even more energy. So this question was from Sandra. She's a chiropractor from Western Australia. Sandra, if you're watching, hello.
Type in hey.
Love
you're on
working
there,
with you. Love working with you. So glad we could help you with this. And Sandra's question was this: what do you do when your team say they're going to do something, then they don't, and I end up chasing them all of the time? So if you can relate to that question, then please type in relate.
Yeah, type
in the chat box. I think everyone can relate to that.
I can relate to that.
Me too.
Leading a team here has happened plenty of times.
That's right.
But after we installed these measures that I'm going to talk about with you on how to actually have accountability with your team, then you're going to really relate to this. And I'm sure you can relate to it too, Tristan.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm probably looking pretty relaxed right now. We've got a process around this. So we just love our team, and we want you to love your team as well. So let's jump in.
Yeah, before we get into how we're going to fix this, I saw this question and straight away I knew that it was accountability. Accountability is the issue here.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time it's accountability, and we have accountability. It's our number one core value. If our team are watching this, you guys will know accountability is everything. It's one of our core values that lives on the wall, and it doesn't just live on the wall. We live and breathe accountability.
That's right.
Every single day. And accountability for us really is taking ownership.
Yes.
Taking ownership. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. Prove it, and then follow through on that as well.
Absolutely.
We have a massive team here. We have a team over in the Philippines. We have a lot of team off-site as well.
Yeah.
So if there's one break in the accountability chain, then it just all unravels.
That's right. And the same for you guys. You might have a small team or a large team, but particularly maybe you're growing a team, you just want to get this right from the get-go, or maybe you've got a team across multiple different sites like we do. It's just so important to make sure that accountability is something that people don't just respect, they totally embody. I just want to share this for a moment as well. I think, and we talk about this ourselves, like accountability, it's a skill that can be learned before it's a trait.
Exactly.
So if we talk about someone, we might say that person's accountable, but that's just because they've mastered the skill of accountability itself.
Exactly right, yeah. Having it as a skill and a learned skill as you as a leader first.
Yes.
So then you can train your team in how to become accountable. Because if you're not accountable yourself, then your team are sure not going to be accountable at all.
Yeah, and if you're not typically accountable, it's because you haven't learnt this skill of accountability. So we're breaking this down. Like, we like to use a clinical reasoning type process with everything we use so that we can replicate it, bottle it up, and then rinse and repeat so that you guys can grow just like our clients do grow. So let's jump in and let's start answering Sandra's question, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. If you guys want to hear the answer to build an accountable team, then type in hell yes into the comments, and then we'll start fixing this issue for Sandra. And probably a lot of you guys who are actually watching this today will have this issue, or you've faced this issue before, so you're going to write down all of these tips. Or you'll probably come up against it at some point. If you have a team, you will come up against this.
Yeah, absolutely, you will. But if you're driving right now, please don't try to type anything in. If you want to type in and participate in these sessions next time, check us out on our Facebook page. So the first question I always ask, and that we've turned this into a system, when everything goes wrong, anything goes wrong in our team, we always ask ourselves this: where do things begin? Where do things start to go off track? So there's a couple of things. If someone is not doing a task, or they're not getting back to you in a timely manner, or they're doing it simply in a way where they're not meeting your goals or requirements or even the standards or even the methodology you want them to do, I always ask myself, first of all, was the team member perhaps not clear on the expectation? Because that's what goes off track first, isn't it?
Most of the time. They're just not clear on actually what to do. The expectation from you, the leader, maybe you didn't articulate it the right way that they understood it.
Yeah, so like we just make too many assumptions with communication. So we need, like, are they actually crystal clear on exactly the expectation that you require from them? The next thing, number 2, is this: was the person you were speaking to on your team, were they crystal clear on the how, on the actual method of how to conduct that task? Because you might, for example, say, I want you to go and do this thing, but you actually haven't shown them how to do it. Are they crystal clear on exactly how to do it to the way that you'd be really, really happy? And by the way, have you systemized those processes so much that you could bring an actor in off the street and they could replicate that process? That is how replicable, trainable, and manageable a system must be. So when we ask ourselves, where do things start to go off track? The answer is, like, were you actually crystal clear on the expectation and the methodology of how that's to be conducted? And finally, were you actually clear with that person on how you're actually going to give them feedback as well? So it's one of those 3. It's where things start to go off track, really. Yeah, and I know you're going to go into more detail in a moment.
Yeah, so the answer on this really is be crystal clear on the expectation when you are handing out a task to a team member.
Yeah.
And then be crystal clear on the actual how to do it.
Yes.
So the training behind that.
Yes.
And be crystal clear on the feedback loop of how you want them to report back to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did an example of this in our masterclass with people that are in our second year and beyond, where you demonstrated what it's like to actually to demand accountability of me, and going through like when I'd get back to you, and even the channel at which I'd communicate that back to you. And we'll get into more detail later on how you actually hold me to account inside our business, and how you guys watching can do this as well. So what is the second part? What is part number 2? I'm going to get you to cover this out.
Yeah, so the second part that we did with Sandra, we said you need to get clear on what accountability looks like for you and also for your team as well. So here is how you can really assure that accountability is actually happening, and giving your team members, setting them up for the best chance of success as well.
So this is what we did in the interaction.
And this was really fun, hey, because we just did it on the whim.
I got scared. Yeah.
I started holding Tristan to account. It was hilarious. It was so funny. If you guys were on our masterclass, our members, you probably saw it too, holding him to account. But it's easy. It's easy as a human to not follow through or not put it in your diary, all of these things. But I'm going to cover that in a minute. But here's how we hand out accountability.
Yes.
Here is the task. So first thing you go, hey, here is the task. Tristan, can you please get me a coffee?
Absolutely. After the podcast. Definitely I can do that right after the podcast.
No, not a coffee. Just kidding. But here's, Tristan, can you do this for me?
Yeah. A task of any nature, right?
Yeah, any task. And then I say, okay, when can you do that?
Okay, well, I can do that. Whenever we finish this, I'm going to say in 20 minutes time from now. How's that?
Awesome.
20 minutes time.
So we say, when can you do it means diarise it, a specific time that it's going to happen.
I'm gonna pull this out and then boom, right?
Yep. So now, Tristan, we've agreed on a time that it's going to happen. So when are you going to do it? 20 minutes after
20
this.
Minutes. Yeah, you got
awesome.
it. Straight after.
And he's put it in his diary.
Diarising it there.
We say it all the time, but the diary is the boss.
Set my alarm.
Set your alarm. And then I say, Tristan, how will I know that you've completed this task?
Well, what I'm going to do is once I've actually made this coffee, I'm going to make a delicious coffee for you with the new beans.
Oh no,
that Jess kindly picked up for us this morning. You will know because I'm going to come and find you in your office and I'm going to physically put it on your desk with a chocolate as well. How's that? I'm going to over-deliver.
Over-delivering. But now we're talking about following through. That's the biggest mistake I see with a lot of people, a lot of business owners, is they miss that step of actually following through. And for me, I've experienced it as a leader. It means in my head, I'm like, is Tristan going to give me that coffee? I don't know when it's going to happen.
You're stressed out.
I'm stressed out.
Not just about coffee, but it's task delivery generally.
Just thinking in the back of my mind.
Have they done it?
When are they going to do it? Has it been done? Has it been done the way I want it to be done? And let alone me giving you one task, then I go give Anthony one, I give Michaela one, I give Jess one. Then I'm thinking about all of these tasks, not working on like the high value strategy or creating amazing podcasts for you guys.
Exactly.
Because I'm thinking, when's Tristan going to give me my coffee?
Yeah, but not just for the coffee. It could be like, when's this task going to come back? So like if we're talking about like a business task. For example, it might be like I'm writing a video sales letter, or right now I'm just finalizing the last few chapters of my book, which, by the way, I'll make sure that you guys will get a copy of. By the way, if you just join us, make sure you slam that love button. Let us know that you are there. The more energy you give us, the more energy we will give you back. But back to the point I was making, if it was like, hey, Tristan, when are you going to show me that second chapter of the marketing section, which is literally what I showed you this morning, and you said, hey, when can you do it? I said, well, I'm going to start writing it at 10 o'clock. And then it was like, when will you show it to me? He said, well, by 11:30, I'm going to show it to you. And how will I know? He said, I'm going to send you a message on the Slack channel to let you know that I've completed it at 11:30, and I'll have the manuscript attached, which all those things I did do.
Yes.
Pat on my back from myself, but this is how you actually create a culture of accountability. It's not because there's distrust. It's Sarah wants to know, have I actually done that?
Exactly. Otherwise, because for you're writing the book, but for me, I'm building out the funnel and the landing page. And if I don't get the book back from you on time, then I can't get my funnel and my landing page, and then it goes on and on like that.
Yeah, it just spills absolutely out of control. So it's just the confidence and the knowledge that you don't have to think about, am I doing it? But then, other people in our office too, and then our offsite team, and then the Philippines team, and then 400 clients. There's just too many things going around in our heads, so we must have a culture of accountability. Yeah,
so the last thing I do when Tristan puts it in his diary and he says, yep, I'm going to get back to you on Slack or whatever we agree on the communication channel, then myself, I put it in my diary as well. So Tristan, he agreed to get it back to me at X time, and then I never chase the team member, I never chase Tristan.
But if we've done it or not.
I know if you've done it because I diarise and it beeps at me and I go, hey, how come my coffee's not on here? We agreed to this, and then that comes up in a one-to-one chat.
Yeah, I'm going to make a really good coffee, all right? It's going to be outstanding, I promise.
So that's how you really get clear on accountability and how you demand accountability.
Yes.
So I want to hear back from you guys in the comments.
Yeah.
What's been the best part about that for you? Or what are you going to install in your business after using that? That hack is just amazing, and it's just really how you build an accountable team.
With everything that we do, I think you guys will notice this, and I'll check through these questions shortly, but I know that everything we do is a clinical reasoning process. You can't just create accountability without having a step-by-step process to first of all teach it, then install it, and then measure it. And ultimately, we'll talk about this in a moment, we're going to score it as well. Yes, you can score a skill and like accountability, and then the behavioral outcome like accountability in and of itself. So everything we do is a clinical reasoning process, much like you treat a patient. We have exactly the same methodology for literally growing your business, which is why our clients double their income, halve their clinical hours, and take total control. So let's jump into the next point, shall we? By the way, keep typing them in.
And we'll circle back, and if you guys have any further questions about accountability, about point 1 or point 2, we'll jump in and make sure we help you after this.
So I'd like to handle this because I've kind of alluded to it a little bit then, but number 3 is this. You've actually got to score accountability. So I know that you might be watching, and I bet you're thinking, they might be thinking, we're all thinking, how the heck do you actually score accountability? And this was just such a game changer for us when we did it. And I still remember when we were sitting down at the QT Hotel on the Gold Coast and we're changing our accountability scorecards to make this super measurable and to put it into words where everyone can completely understand. So if you think about this, scoring is so important. we have a peak performance team here, and I want you to have a peak performance team as well. But if you think about the best athletes in the world, the best competitors, they score their results, right?
Everything.
Score everything. So not only like if you've got a sprinter that they're measuring their times, like how they're going their time trial. If you've got a soccer player, like how many passes did they cleanly make in the game? How many shots on goal? Were the shots on target? Did they actually score goals and so on? For Aussie rules football, we have a whole swagger of statistics which would just blow your mind. But we measure absolutely everything. So if you want a behaviour to improve, it stands to reason you should actually measure that behaviour, because what you measure can be improved, but only when you have a method for improving that behavior. So a couple of things that we do, and for our clients, they've got accountability scorecards they use every single week.
Yep, in a one-to-one meeting with the team, they use it every single week, and this is my favorite part. We added this onto our scorecard, and
it's a total game changer.
It's a game changer. So write this down, not if you're driving, obviously, but if you're on the live and you can write this down or go back to it. But we added it onto our scorecard. We have a one-to-one meeting with everyone on our team. This one little change that we made, we score follow up or follow through.
Yeah.
So every week, was I following you up? Did I have to chase you to get all of these tasks done? Or were you following through, being accountable?
Yeah, definitely. So we actually score that every week. So it's like, for accountability for us, it's like, what does it actually mean? Well, accountability means knowing that you're following through. It's quite simple, really.
Yeah.
So we change the language around it so that we can go, hang on, well, you weren't accountable because you didn't follow through, or yes, you were accountable because you followed through. I didn't need to follow you up. So we actually measure it, and because it's our number one core value on our wall, and we don't just look it on the wall, we live and breathe it. It's part of our culture because we actually score it. We talk about it every single day. Like we even say in our stand-ups, how are we going to demonstrate accountability today?
Exactly.
How are we going to prove that? Now be accountable on your accountability and prove you've actually done it. So we actually go through it and do it to that level. So that's the total game changer. Definitely score accountability. But remember, first of all, it's a skill, and we've just shown you how to actually use that skill. And now we're showing you how to score it so we can make it cultural and then ultimately behavioral and a trait.
Yeah, what I would love to know, as you guys have been going through this, I want to know, do you score your team right now? Do you have scorecards that you go through with every individual team member on your team? Just type in yes or type in no. I just love to know in the chat box, and I'll come back and have a look at you guys as well.
Yeah, do you score like objective outcomes every week, and do you score behavioral outcomes every single week? Because this is how you build a peak performance team. And you might be thinking, geez, that sounds a little bit full on. And hey, I'd be feeling the same if I hadn't gone through the same process. In fact, when I first learned about it, I was like, whoa, that seems a bit intense. But geez, it was fun. Like within the first week, I was like, this is amazing.
I can't imagine life without doing it. And our team say exactly the same thing. I think we were out on a conference on a Friday, which is normally when I meet with the team.
Yeah.
And I came back on Monday and they're like, when are we doing our one-to-ones?
Yeah.
Are we doing it today? And I was like, oh yeah, we'll do it today. They love it, and they want to be scored because then they can improve as well.
And I want to be clear as well, like Sarah and I both scored on the same scorecard. So like we actually live and embody these values too. And that's really important, that if you're going to request and in fact demand this of your team, you must also demonstrate that you are also subject to the same rules and you are embodying and leading your team by owning those core values. That's really important. I love it. Like I'd be lost without having these meetings. I want to know how I'm going. I want to know how I can improve. I really want to own my behavior, and I know you're the same.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know what to do without them now. I don't even know. I don't know what used to happen before them.
I actually don't remember.
No idea.
But it filters down. But that's it. We've covered Sandra's question, and I'm sure you got a lot of key takeaways. But I'm going to tell you the actions that we really gave Sandra to install in her business, so she didn't end up having to chase all of her team members when she hands out a task. She felt like she was always chasing them all the time. So the first thing we did was, the answer was get clear on the expectations and get clear on the task and the feedback loop when you're handing out a task to someone. So that was the first thing we said to Sandra, get really crystal clear on the expectation and the outcome you want of your team member with that task. The second thing we did was we got clear on what accountability actually looked like, how she could give accountability and demand accountability of her team members. And the third thing she installed scoring it, adding that extra bit onto her scorecard with her team, the follow-up or the follow-through.
That's awesome. So we'd love to know, if you're watching this, by the way, smash that love button. Let us know you're loving this, but also type in, what's been your biggest takeaway? Type that in below into the feed. What's been your biggest takeaway from this episode today? What's been your biggest takeaway? And if you've got any questions, add them in too, and we'll be certain to come back and help you with that. So if you're watching this, and you've probably been watching our stuff for a while, and we very much appreciate it, thank you. Hit that love button, let us know that you love it. But if you want to get some help, take your business to the next level, and you want to build an accountable team so that you can build a business which is bigger than you, which doesn't depend on you. In fact, you want to build a movement, then why don't you book a conversation with our team and see if we can be of service for you. The way to do that is go to the link practiceacceleration.com/apply. Is that correct?
Yep, and we'll get Anthony, if you're watching this on our page. Anthony, if you could send the link out as well, then you can simply just head on and over and click the link as well.
Fantastic. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check us out and see if we might be able to help you, and much like all the case studies we share in here, you too could be getting those results. Everyone that we reference, they're just like you. They're go-getters, they're great clinicians, they love their patients, they love their team, but they were just missing the strategies, and now they have them, and now they're exploding. So if you want to double your income, have your clinical hours, take total control, let's have a chat and see if we can help you out. Go to that link, practiceacceleration.com/apply, or click on the link below and Anthony will hook you up. I think we're ready to wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. All right, guys, we'll see you on next week's episode.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.